My uncle said I was wasting my life, in front of everyone, just because I didn't want to work at his dealership. The room erupted with laughter. My cousin smirked and whispered, "She thinks painting candles is a career." My own brother chimed in, "She's 29 and still playing with wax. It's embarrassing." Like, share, subscribe if you believe success doesn't need validation, and tell us in the comments, have you ever been laughed at for chasing your dream? I stood there, in the middle of my family's annual barbecue, holding a small gift box. I had crafted myself handmade soy candles, personalized with each of their names. I had spent days designing them. But instead of thanks, I got mockery.my. Aunt Lisa rolled her eyes. "You should focus on getting a real job, Sophia. You're not a teenager anymore." No one touched the candles. They were left untouched on the picnic table like trash. I felt my face flush, but I didn't say a word. I just smiled and quietly walked away, but what no one knew was that I had been building something in silence. Every night, while they binge-watched TV or gossiped on group chats, I was experimenting with wax blends, learning e-commerce, studying Instagram marketing, and shipping orders from my tiny apartment floor. Still, the whispers never stopped. My cousin Emily posted a story that night. Some people chase dreams. Others chase delusion. And I knew that was aimed at me. The next week, during a family dinner, my dad pulled me aside. "You know I love you," he said carefully, "but maybe it's time to quit this hobby. You're falling behind in life. Look at your brother. He just bought a Tesla." I bit my tongue. I didn't tell him that just last week, I'd been contacted by a boutique chain in Los Angeles. They wanted to place a bulk order. $50,000 up front. I didn't tell him I had a business partner now, an influencer who loved my candles and shared them with her 4 million followers, because I knew, I wanted them to see it when it was too late to pretend they believed in me, and that moment, it came faster than I expected. Just 3 weeks later, something happened that flipped everything, and forced my entire family to confront the truth about who I really was. It started with a phone call during Sunday dinner, right when my uncle was bragging about expanding his dealership. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. "Sophia? This is Jordan Michaels from Glow House. We'd like to move forward with the exclusive licensing deal. We're prepared to offer $1.2 million for full rights to your candle line. And we'd love for you to lead creative direction." I froze. Everyone at the table turned to look at me. "Is everything okay?" my mom asked, her tone half concerned, half annoyed. I smiled. "Yeah. Everything's perfect." I stepped outside, heart racing. A $1.2 million deal? Glow House was one of the biggest wellness brands in the country. They had stores in NYC, LA, Miami, and they wanted my candles. Inside, laughter continued. My cousin Jeremy joked, "Probably another Etsy customer asking for a unicorn-scented birthday candle." His girlfriend laughed too. "Or a refund." I came back to the table, calmly sat down, and started eating like nothing happened, because I wasn't going to say anything. Not yet. 2 days later, I signed the deal. I became head of creative for their upcoming Rooted Light collection. My face was going to be on their campaign posters. And my candles, renamed Sophia Grace Signature Series, were going into 300+ stores nationwide. And then it happened. The Glow House Instagram account posted a teaser video. Meet the woman behind our next big thing, Sophia Grace, the candle visionary who turned calm into power. It went viral overnight. 3.2 million views in 24 hours, comment after comment. "Her aesthetic is everything. I'd buy anything she makes." Finally, a story that feels real. My family's group chat blew up. Emily sent a screenshot. "Wait, this is our Sophia." My uncle replied, "I thought this candle thing was a joke." And then silence until the next Sunday, because that's when I walked into the family barbecue again, this time, not with candles and a gift box, but with a camera crew, a brand manager, and a luxury SUV that had my name engraved on the front seat, a custom gift from Glow House. And what happened when they saw me? Well, let's just say, the smirks disappeared instantly. The moment I stepped out of that SUV, jaws dropped. Emily actually gasped. My uncle's beer bottle nearly slipped from his hand. My mom blinked like she was seeing a ghost. "Sophia," my dad finally managed to say, eyes darting between me and the crew behind me. What is all this?" I smiled calmly. "Just a little press coverage. Glow House wanted to document where it all started." Glow what? My cousin muttered under his breath. The brand manager, Mia, stepped forward with a friendly wave. Hi. We're just doing a short behind-the-scenes clip for our campaign. You know, showcasing Sophia's roots and her incredible journey. The story of how she built a $1 million empire from her tiny apartment? People love that. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone stared at me like they were seeing me for the first time. Like I'd grown wings and flown in from another dimension. Emily tried to force a laugh. Wait, this is a joke, right? I turned to her and gently said, no. Iminese. The joke ended when Glowhouse wired $1.2 million into my account last week. Her face turned pale, then came the most awkward part, the part one had waited years for. Uncle Rick, who once said I was wasting oxygen, chasing hobbies, suddenly clapped a little too hard. Wow. I mean, we always knew you had potential. Just didn't know you were working on something this serious. Now he wanted to be supportive? Oh, and by the way, he added, walking closer, I was thinking maybe we could do a candle collaboration for the dealership lobby. You know, classy scents for classy clients. What do you say? I didn't even look at him. Mia stepped in. Sorry, Mr. Rick, Sophia's calendar is full until next year. She's booked solid with Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, and a pop-up in Paris. His smile cracked. I walked over to the table where they had left my candles untouched last year. The exact same picnic table. I pulled out a signed gift box, our limited edition Roots collection, worth $249 retail, and gently placed it on the center. Thought you all might want a second chance, I said, then looked directly at Emily. I hear delusions can become reality, if you work hard enough. And just like that, the cameras caught it all, the stunned faces, the silence, the realization, but the biggest twist was still on the way, because the money wasn't the peak, there was something I hadn't told anyone yet. Not even Mia, and once it came out, this barbecue would never be the same again. Just as everyone was beginning to process what had happened, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message I had been waiting for. Contract finalized. Trademark transferred. You now own the full rights to Pure Glow Candles LLC. Congrats, Sophia, CEO status unlocked. I stared at the screen for a moment, then turned it toward the camera crew. Mia's jaw dropped. Wait. You bought Pure Glow? I nodded slowly, still smiling. I didn't just sign with Glowhouse. I now own the company that makes half their candle supply. Gasps rippled across the yard. My cousin dropped her phone. My mom, who always worried I'd end up alone and broke, suddenly looked like she might faint. Pure Glow wasn't just any brand, it was the #1 private label candle manufacturer in the US. And I had bought it in silence over the past few months. Using the funds from my first licensing wave, plus a quiet investor I met through Instagram, that meant I wasn't just the face of Glowhouse anymore, I was their supplier. Their boss, and now, every single one of my relatives, was staring at me like they were meeting me for the first time. Emily stuttered, why didn't you tell us? I looked her dead in the eyes. Because when I did share things, you all laughed. You made fun of my dream. I needed to protect it. My uncle interrupted, trying to recover. Okay, but hey, family's family, right? We're proud of you now. That's what matters. I turned to him calmly. Funny. You weren't proud when you called me a grown child playing with wax at Thanksgiving. The silence that followed was heavy, so heavy, you could feel the regret creeping into their bones. Then my dad stood up. His face was pale. His voice was quiet. I was wrong, he said. We all were. And for the first time in years? I believed him, but before anyone could process the emotional shift, Mia's assistant came running up, whispering something in her ear. Mia turned to me, eyes wide. Sophia, the Glowhouse CEO just announced it on live. You're trending everywhere. Forbes, Business Insider, even Vogue just posted a feature, the candle queen who outsmarted her entire family. I blinked. They used that title? Exactly. That. The cameras turned to capture my reaction, and for the first time, I let it all sink in. But just when I thought the moment couldn't get any bigger, a black SUV pulled up behind mine, and the person who stepped out was the last face I expected to see. Out of the SUV stepped a sharply dressed woman in a navy power suit and heels that probably cost more than my first 3 months of rent. It was Valerie Quinn, the president of Global Retail Partnerships. At Nordstrom, every major dealmaker in the beauty and wellness industry knew her name. She was the kind of person you only read about, not the kind who shows up to backyard barbecues. Everyone stood still. Even Mia looked stunned. Oh my god. That's Valerie Quinn. What is she doing here? Valerie walked straight toward me, completely ignoring the awkward, frozen faces of my family. Sophia, she smiled, holding out her hand. We're thrilled about the direction you're taking Pure Glow. I couldn't wait until Monday to give you the news personally. I shook her hand, still unsure what was happening. She leaned in. Nordstrom is ready to go nationwide with the full Sophia Grace collection. All 320 stores. And we're offering front window placement in our top 20 locations. The world tilted. Mia nearly screamed. My dad leaned on the table for support. Emily looked like someone had just punched her in the stomach, but Valerie wasn't done. She turned to the camera crew and smiled like she was on live TV. You're witnessing the birth of a retail legend here. Sophia isn't just an influencer or a businesswoman, she's the future of luxury wellness. At that exact moment, the drone camera zoomed out above us, capturing everything, the shocked faces, the chaos, the full circle silence, and then I spoke, not to the cameras, not to Valerie, but to the very family that once mocked me. I didn't build all this to prove you wrong. I built it because I knew I was worth more than your expectations. I just stopped asking for permission to shine. And just like that, the barbecue ended not with laughter, but with respectful silence. One by one, they came up to me, the same relatives who once ignored my candles, who once laughed behind my back, now asking for advice, collaborations, investment opportunities. But I didn't give them answers, because some people don't get a second chance when they've already shown you what they truly think of your dreams. That night, I left in silence, sitting in the back seat of my SUV, watching the glow of the backyard shrink in the rearview mirror, not out of sadness, but peace, because for the first time in my life, I had nothing to prove, and they were left sitting in the shadows of the $1 million dream they once called a joke.